Right. Oh, so coming into this place, this time, this 30 minutes, even just here, that sense of arriving, coming in right now, letting everything rest. It'll all be there waiting for you. But just for now, this 30 minutes is just for you. So taking that breath and just settling right here in your body. And so beginning today, we're switching to focusing on this head center. We've stayed in the heart and loving kindness, explored the belly center and that place of power and action, moving up into the head center and this place of clarity. You know, we spend so much of our time in our head, but most of it is wrapped up in our thoughts. We're like in them, surrounded by them, drowning in them, smothered by them, that it's rarely do we feel that sense of clarity when being in our head. And so that's what we're going to be kind of exploring into, what that feels like, what blocks it, what the different states of that are. And just like with the other places in our body where we have been exploring that interoceptive awareness, that fine-tuned sensing that actually increases the sense of internal regulation, internal coherence, and that sense of wholeness and integrity. We can do that same thing with our headspace. It's a little bit different though, you know, when we're sensing into interoceptive awareness in our chest or our belly, you know, we're really sensing the tactile sensations of breathing and moving. You can feel the tilt of the hips and how that affects a place of power. It's not quite the same with your head. It's not like you can say, oh yeah, the neuron on the left side of my head's a little cold today. You know, it's not quite the same. And yet, in our just normal vernacular, we use metaphors all the time to describe the felt sense of this interoceptive space. Like, how many times have you said, oh, I just feel scatterbrained? Or, oh, it's like a light went off. Or I'm just like, my head is mush today. You know, it's like we have language to describe those metaphors of what these different head senses feel like. So when we're exploring this in the thinking realm, have fun with exploring metaphor. So this is that felt sense that describes the sensation, you know, as if it were really that way. You know, so scatterbrained, you know, that has a very particular feel to it. You know, it's like everything just went psh, or it's like going all over a pinball. You know, it's like that feeling of everything is just chaotic. You know, when there's that sense of an aha, you know, that sense of like something just dings, there's like a bell tone that almost goes off, or a light flashes, or sometimes it feels crystal clear. You know, so it's like, feel free to explore these tactile, sensory language and exploring thoughts. And it's just, that's what we're going to do today, is we're just going to play and start to build that vocabulary, build that awareness. Because the more vocabulary we have, you know, the more we're able to articulate the nuances. Again, that finer sensory awareness, the more we're able to realize where we're at, what our thinking is like, and what we need in the moment. So one of those, you know, just basics, you know, when you're feeling a lot of emotion, you know, that has a very particular feeling state in the brain. And it's usually a really bad idea to try to problem solve or analyze when emotion is really high. It usually goes poorly. So if you're able to recognize, oh, this feeling of the thinking right now, The thinking has this particular touch to it, or it sounds this way. This is not a good time for me to figure out what's going on. I will send myself down a rabbit hole really fast if I try to do some problem solving when I'm in this place. I need to do something else first and then come back. So again, it's like the more we fine tune our awareness, the more effective we can be in what we need to do. So that's just kind of tying it back to how this applies practically. So with that said, we'll jump in and start to play. All right. So closing your eyes, taking a breath, letting all of your attention come into your breathing. Inhaling and exhaling. Notice the rise and fall of your chest as you breathe. Perhaps noticing the rhythm of your breath, whether it's fast or slow, or if it's up here in the top of your chest, down at the bottom of your chest. There's no need to change anything. Just noticing, what is the breathing like right now in this moment? Perhaps noticing the breath in the back, the movement of the shoulder blades as the ribs expand and contract with each breath. Perhaps noticing areas that aren't moving, that might normally be moving. Again, you don't have to change anything. That's not wrong. But bringing that awareness to what might not be moving in this moment. Feeling that breath move from your nose through your throat, into your chest, down into your belly with your inhale. And then with your exhale, it flows from your belly, through your chest, through your throat, all the way out your nose. Beginning to feel the rhythm of the breath, the movement of breath that goes in and down, and then it comes up and out again. And perhaps noticing how your body moves in 3 directions as you breathe. It can open to the front and to the back. Side to side. The ribs opening under the arms. From top to bottom. From your hips all the way up to your collarbones. And from here, checking in with your body. That quick check-in. Noticing what is here right now. Nothing to fix, nothing right or wrong. Just, oh, you're here today. I see you. And then checking in with your thoughts. Noticing the thoughts that want to bounce around in your head right now. You can notice the content of the thoughts, where your attention is pulled towards. You can notice if they're planning thoughts or judging thoughts or daydreaming thoughts or remembering thoughts, focusing thoughts. And then just that quick touch in of like, oh yeah, how's my thinking right now? What does it feel like in this moment? And then checking in with emotions. What emotions are present right now? It could be fairly low intensity, it could be high intensity, lots of emotions, contradictory emotions. Just one simple state of being. Just making space to see what is here. And that sense of coherence. Oh, yes, this is where I am right now in this moment. This is my breathing, the physical sensations, the thoughts, and the emotions. I'm present. I'm here. And from here, taking that awareness back to the thinking, beginning to play with getting to know this place a little bit more. And you might even stop by sitting back and go, what do I even mean when I think about watching my thinking? I do it every time I sit here, but what is that exactly? Am I sitting behind my head looking forward? Am I in the center of my head looking around me? Just being curious. What does that even mean for you? Where do you notice your awareness spatially related to your thinking? Is your thinking somewhere out there in front of you and you're behind your eyes? There's no right or wrong. There's no way it should be. But just pausing. When I turn my awareness towards thinking, what happens? And even beginning to wonder if how you're experiencing it right now in the moment is consistent across different thinking states, or if that changes. I know for myself, sometimes when I first sit down to watch my thoughts, it's almost as if they're out there in front of me, a couple feet. But when emotion is high, I feel like I'm right in the center of them. So my spatial orientation is different depending on that thinking style. But who knows what it might be for you? So as you begin to just notice that place of orientation, how you relate to your thoughts, watching your thoughts, start to play with different sensory words, different metaphors that would describe the way the thinking feels right now. Sometimes it can feel like you're slogging through mush. The thoughts are just trying to push forward. Or sometimes it feels sharp, kind of chaotic, intrusive, abrasive. The thoughts are just kind of poking and twisting. You can almost feel the sharpness. Sometimes they feel electric, like there's a zap or a charge, a jolt. Sometimes they feel fluid and they just flow one into another. Sometimes they can feel sticky, like they just keep looping around and just there, over and over and over and over and over again. Perhaps beginning to notice those small muscles in your face, your neck, the back of your head. Noticing how your physical body does move, does change, very small ways as you feel into these felt senses, these perceptions of a thinking style. Just whatever is here right now in this moment, even if it's concentration, concentrating very hard, trying to figure this out. What does concentration feel like? Or even confusion. There's a sense of like, I just can't get it. I know I'm supposed to be doing something, but I have no idea what I'm touching, no idea what I'm sensing. Like, what does that feel like as thoughts? And then taking a breath, letting your attention just kind of relax for a minute. Taking an inhale and an exhale. See if you can recall a time when you had one of those aha moments where everything just seemed to click into place, where it was like, oh, I get it. And sometimes we really just do that. Oh, there's a startled, but it's a knowing, a startled knowing. Oh, yes. See if you can remember that. That, oh, yeah, I get it. And what does that thinking feel like? You can use those tactile words of touch, texture. You can use sound or light, sight. It can look bright, Sometimes people experience brightness. It truly is a white brightness. If it's a sound, is it a high-pitched tone, a low-pitched tone? Is it consistent? Does it vibrate? Does it vary? Same with light. If you see a light, when there is that sense of clarity of like, oh, I get it. Does it pulse? Or is it constant? Does the thinking just feel sharp and clear without being that intrusive sharpness, a different kind of sharpness? Sometimes when there's that sense of, oh, I get it, it almost feels like something else drained away. It's like all the water, all the sludge drains away, and what was left is now seen. So almost a sense of revealing. And some people can even feel this sense of draining away, leaving behind clarity. The thoughts just kind of drain away and there is stillness and quiet. And then taking a breath. Again, just that letting it go, relax. And this is usually pretty easy to grab back onto a memory of when you were just really stressed, really worried. You felt like you were running a mile a minute. Things were here, they were pressing on you this way, and you had to do that. You just didn't have time, and you were just going and just going and just going. And notice what it feels like now. It might even be just stepping into just an hour ago. I almost feel like there's a ping pong ball just going back and forth in my head. And just noticing, oh yeah, that feeling. I know the thinking state of that feeling. But again, getting detailed, using those words, those sensory details. And then exhaling, coming back to the breath. And just that little review of present moment and aha and stressed. And now just the breath. Just the breath, the inhale and the exhale. Scanning through the body, noticing the body in this moment. What the thought style is like right here in this moment. The emotions that are here in this moment. Again, that sense of checking in. The coherence of what is here, right here in this moment after this exercise. Just noticing the breath, the body, the thoughts, the emotions. Inhaling and exhaling. Taking a few more breaths. And when you feel ready, opening your eyes.